Hey, this is Jay, and this is a quick tutorial for self-hosted video starter kit. So I actually introduced this kind of sneakily in the last video where we were going over running self-hosted n8n in Docker. So I mostly was inspired by n8n's own self-hosted AI starter kit. So they provide a project here available for download, just an open public repo, but it's more for running an AI agent. So if you were to download and run this project, you get the self-hosted n8n in a Docker container. And then they also install Ollama for you, so you can have your own open source AI model running. Qdrant, so that you can give it a vector store, so if you wanted it to reference like a bunch of documents. And then Postgres is obviously for the n8n app to actually run, but you can also use that with the AI agent to be able to manage like, chat history and that kind of thing. So if you're just looking for more of like the AI agent route, it's definitely a great place to start. You can just come to the repo and download that and you'd be good to go. But that was my inspiration for this, was like, well, I've been doing a lot of video related workflows lately, so I'd rather have like a video editing based project instead. So this one's pretty straightforward. Again, it's just a starter kit, but it does come installed with Whisper. So Whisper gets its own service. And within actually that Whisper container is also FFmpeg. And that right there gives you like a huge foundation for being able to transcribe video and be able to manipulate video as far as, add subtitles or cut the video or whatever with FFmpeg. So obviously, to get started, like I mentioned, this is Docker, so you just need to be able to run a Docker command. So once you've got Docker installed, you can download the repo for free, and then you just have to come into wherever you downloaded it, and then run one command. Before that, I guess technically you do have to have an env file. I kind of accidentally included it, which you should probably never do. But you can go ahead and use the one that's already in here. So since I mostly was thinking about this as like a locally running thing. You could actually upgrade this to run in a cloud. And if that's the case, then these values need to be way more secure than that. But right now, mostly it just requires that you need the Postgres, parameters to be able to get the database started. So this will run as is. You probably want to use better values than this, but these will work. So once you've got the repo installed and your .env is good to go, you would really just have to run one command. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear mine, which is the docker compose up build. So it's included right here. Pretty straightforward. All that's doing is it's kind of a 2-for-1. So the -- build means that it's going to download everything and build the image itself, which may take a few minutes. That may take like 2 to 5 minutes, depending, because that's to download all of Whisper and get it installed. Same with FFmpeg and same with the n8n app itself. But hopefully it doesn't take too long, and you should start seeing hopefully log messages like this. So Whisper is going to be running on the 9000 port, and then the n8n itself will be running on 5678 like normal for self-hosted. I am running this in Cursor, which I should also point out. So this also could really help. So if you end up running into some errors while you after running that command, you can just drop it in the Cursor chat and just ask it what's going on, and it will have context of the entire project. So it should hopefully be able to answer some questions for you and get it up and running if you needed to. So definitely worth looking into if you haven't used Cursor. But that's pretty much it. So once that's good to go, let's kind of jump into n8n itself. So again, this is a self-hosted thing. So, the first time you may have to actually create a user if it's first time running it. So you just sign up like you would sign up on the website. You just enter an email, first name, last name, and password. This is all stored within Docker though. So like you can change that or delete it later or whatever. So it doesn't have to be super secure if it's just running on your system. But once you're in here, you're back to your normal n8n. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a workflow here and just go through like a kind of an example. So first thing is that, I do want to point out that I did set up this project to have kind of a walkthrough or a shortcut, basically, where there's a shared data folder that is set up to connect. It gets mounted with the Docker container, so it will automatically be able to connect to the shared data folder from your computer. So anything you drop in the shared data folder, you can use in n8n right now with this, assuming you're running this on your locally hosted system. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and set a variable just to kind of make that easier to use. So I'm going to say shared folder is /shared inside of Docker. And then in this case, I'm just going to grab a test video. So I'm going to hard code the test video 1. So file name is test video 1. for. So that way we've kind of got our values set. Obviously, you could pull those from wherever if you wanted to do like Google Sheets or something like that, or some sort of local file trigger, that would work too. The trigger, the file change doesn't work as well since we're running through the mounted folder. So I don't think the local file trigger will recognize a file being dropped in here, unfortunately. So you'll probably have to go off of like a schedule or some sort of other trigger instead. Just a little bit of a working around in the hack together Docker environment. But we can access those values. So I'm going to go ahead and do a read from disk. And then just go ahead and use the values that I just set up. And then that should get us our video file. Cool. So we've got the video binary, and now we're ready to use the video for whatever we want. So first example I just wanted to show is the Whisper service. So we're going to access it through HTTP request. This will be a post method because we are including a body. And then the command itself, you can just come to the repo. Definitely can't do localhost through that because it's within a network, so it's not going to recognize that. You can call localhost from your browser and get to the service directly if you want. But instead, we're going to do something like this. So we're going to call we're going to call Whisper 9000, and then the /transcribe because we're doing the transcription route. That's the goal for this call, and this is partly what I've upgraded from last time. So last time it was only just /transcribe. There was no parameters. But this time I've added a return timestamps option. So return timestamps equals true. I think by default it will not. So you get more than just the transcript. You'll get the timestamps with it. And then transcript type. So then you also have the option, I think by default we'll actually do segment, but you could include this word param, and then it will return timestamps by word rather than by like segment, which is basically like by sentence. So just go ahead and copy this command or this URL. And that's what we use inside here to access Whisper. So that's good to go. And then no authentication. We're doing the local thing. The only thing we're going to do here, we don't need query params, don't need headers, but we are going to do send body. It does take a form data, and we're going to use the n8n binary data file since that's what we've got over here. So the param is file. Again, you could hop in cursor here and just check the repo if you wanted. The main code that's like hosting the service for Whisper is just this Python file. So, you could ask cursor, cursor chat, what the file name is if you wanted or whatever. But it's just, the parameters file. And then we're going to pass in data because that's how n8n handles this, which is kind of weird, but it knows what to do with it. So if we go ahead and run that, we should get a transcript for our test video. So, and again, this is executing, so it worked. And there's not a lot of logging in the project right now, so it won't really tell you too much if it is working. But if you do see an error wherever you ran your Docker command, you can, one of the benefits of using cursor is that you could, if you're running it in cursor, you can just drop the error in the chat and ask it about like, hey, what happened? What's this mean? That kind of thing. So if you see an error here, you'll definitely see an error wherever your Docker command is running to. So, and there we go. So it's just a quick video, so it's not a very long transcript, but you have the entire transcript in text, and then you also have all the timestamps after that. So then, you're good to go. You can use that with, wherever you want, as far as like if you wanted to start, you probably would use an AI at that point to, start manipulating the transcript or whatever. But anyway, that at least kind of gives you a quick example of being able to use the Whisper service directly in the setup. And then the only other one I was going to cover was the FFmpeg. So I wanted to do an example of using that as well. Very similar. So we're going to do a post and access it, through HTTP request. And then instead of transcribe, we still call the same Whisper 9000 because it's still in the same image or same container. But in this case, we're going to do FFmpeg, and that's it. So we're just going to call that /FFmpeg, and it's good to go. We just need to include one thing. So we're going to stick with the JSON body, and the only parameter is command. And then we can pass in a FFmpeg, a full FFmpeg command right here, and it will just execute whatever we pass in. I think it validates to make sure that it starts with FFmpeg. But again, this is also kind of assuming you're running locally, so it's not the most like thoroughly vetted system. But if I've already chatted with it a little bit and again, one of the benefits of using cursor, when I asked about it, it already knew that it was operating inside of this environment. So I was able to be like, oh yeah, like we can give you a command for that. So it kind of had the context of what we were doing. But now, yeah, just as an example, so all this is going to do is I told it the route to test video 1, and I just said, let's copy the first 10 seconds off that video. And then I told it to then output it as dash, and then it actually came up with dash 10 seconds. But it recognized that, hey, I need to output it back to the same folder. So that's pretty much it. We just need to have this thing set up to run the FFmpeg command. Again, you could do, some AI, prompting before that. I mean, that's essentially all I did here to be able to pull in that custom command and then run the FFmpeg service. The more important thing is just like having the access to be able to run the service within this environment. So if we do that, we get a good result. So that's good. Come over to Finder, then yeah, we should have 10-second video. It is considerably shorter than the first one, or smaller, at 9 megs as opposed to 60. And we should get a video that's about 10 seconds. And there we do. Nice. And there you have it. So that's pretty much it for this one. I mostly just wanted to go over the capability of, or at least the examples of running the Whisper service here and getting your transcripts, and then the FFmpeg command to then be able to manipulate video. So I think this provides a pretty solid foundation if you're doing any kinds of like video automation kind of thing, or you want to, mostly video repurposing and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's the self-hosted video starter kit. So hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully it's interesting. Let me know, if there's anything else you want to see. Probably we'll be slowly upgrading this as well. So, check back for newer versions, but would love your feedback as far as anything else you'd like to see to upgrade this project. So, but in the meantime, also let me know, if there's any other videos, tutorials you want to see. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.